Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This house that scholarship should only be created on the basis of financial necessity. The percentage of poor people in September 2020 was 10.90%, an increase of 0.41 percentage point against March 2020 and an increase of 0.97% point against September 2019. The number of poor people in September 2020 was 27.55 million people, an increase of 1.30 million people in March 2020, an increase of 2.76 million people in September 2019. The percentage of the urban poor in March 2020 was 7.38%, rising to 7.88% in September 2020. Meanwhile, the percentage of the rural people in March 2020 was 12.82%, rising to 13.20% in September 2020. Compared to March 2020, the number of urban poor in September 2020 increased by 876.5 thousand people from 11.60 million people in March 2020 to 12.04 million people in September 2020. Meanwhile, in the same period, the number of rural poor people increased by 249.1 thousand people from 15.26 million people in March 2020 to 15.51 million people in September 2020. The poverty line in September 2020 was recorded at 458.947 capita per month, with the composition of the food poverty line of 190.943 at 26.30%. In September 2020, on average, poor households in Indonesia had 4.83 household members. This the size of the poverty line per poor household on average is 2,216,740 per month per poor household per month. 75% of children drop out of school due to economic factor from Occasion.com. Children from the process to 20% of families are nearly 5 times more likely to miss primary and secondary school than the richest to 20% of families. Compass.com from the Compass.com. Solution: the government must be responsive in solving the problem of dropping out of school due to poverty by providing scholarship to children from poor families. Education is one of the links in the chain to break poverty. For this reason, the government must facilitate poor students for this to go to school and continue their education as high as possible so that cases of poverty no longer as arise with the growth of an educated society. In the law of Republic Indonesia number 20 04 2003 concerning the national education system article 4. The first point reads that education is carried out in a democratic and fair manner and is not discriminatory, by upholding human rights, religious values, cultural values, and national pluralism. Based on this, the government is obligated to pay attention and provide justice in terms of free education through scholarship to the poor to create social justice for all Indonesian people. The government must prioritize the interests of community at large rather than the interests of a few other people. In this case, the number of poor people is higher than the rich people. The government can empathy other scholarship based on financial shortfalls. Rich people can support themselves without the help of government financial scholarship for the poor. The government will be successful in two ways: homely alleviating poverty and succeeding in education. Article 5 of the Law of the Republic of Indonesia 2003 states that every citizen has the same right to option quality education. For this reason, the government must be present to provide service for every community, especially the poor, who must be given scholarship to break poverty and create a more advanced civilization. The government can increase the education budget, improve the quality of education, and provide free education so that on average all Indonesian people have a high education, and high is useful for improving the quality of the country economy because high education rates can reduce employment in our country, or at least those who can higher education can create jobs. Sekian dari saya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.